Welcome to Simply Happy Conversations, a podcast that teaches you how to create a clutter-free, functional, simply happy life. I'm Narelle King, a professional organiser who supports families with practical steps to simplify their lives and create a more organised home. Do you put your cups away facing up or down? Do you store your plastic containers with lids on or off? Do you decanter or not decanter in your pantry? Do you freeze food in plastic or glass containers? These are some of the questions we're going to be exploring today in our kitchen organisation preferences, the pros to each, and the results from the social media quiz that I shared in my Facebook group and on Instagram. Let's get started. Thanks for joining me for today's solo episode. It's a fun topic. It's all about kitchen organisation preferences. I'm going to share the pros and cons to each, and maybe I might even persuade you to try one of the other options. There are 4 organisation debate topics that I'll be sharing in this episode. So let's jump in. The first one is cups up or down. On social media and also on Facebook, 50% of you answered that there was cups up and 50% have them down. Cups facing up, the pros to this. And for myself, I am cups up. Number one, it's usually easier to access, which means that you can grab the handle a lot easier, whereas it depends on the shape of the handle. I think for me, the reason I keep them up is because when I have to flip them, that's when I'm more likely to drop it because I'm quite clumsy at times. Number 2 would be drying effectiveness. If the cup has been washed and placed upside down and there might be like some moisture still on the inside and maybe there's no airflow getting in, then you're more likely to have maybe an odor in there, like the coffee odor might stay or a tea. Also, it could be a place that mold could grow. And number 3 reason for having your cups up is the visibility of being able to see inside the cup. So you can see if it needs cleaning, if it's ready to use, or maybe someone's just placed it in there straight from the dishwasher and it hasn't actually gone through the wash cycle yet. The pros of a cups facing down. Number 1 is dust protection. And that's probably the one I hear the most when I give people the option of which one do they want their cups. And it's usually they want their cups down. The reason they'll give is because they want to protect them from the dust. So number 2 is space saving. Cups can be stacked more easily when they're facing down, potentially saving space in a cabinet or shelves. But you know what I'd say? I'd be like, if we've got to stack cups, maybe we need to look at either decluttering them, or I just recently for a client, we placed a tiered level for her. So the cups could go on the top that they use all the time and some of the ones that she still wanted to keep, but it's only when certain people come over, they have their favorite cups. She could place all of those underneath the shelf. So whether you choose to store your cups facing up or down will depend on your personal preference, maybe where you're living and the kitchen environment, who's using it and how regularly it's being used. Number 2 debate topic is lids on your containers, your plastic containers, or lids off. And the results that I found from asking this on social media was that 15% of people have their lids on the containers and a massive 85% of us have them off. I definitely have them off because I don't have the space for the amount of containers I have to store them. So my drawer where the containers live will be completely empty after I've gone to the supermarket and they're all filled up. But then as the week goes on and the food's been eaten, that's when the containers are empty and back in that drawer again. Some of the pros to storing your lids on. Number 1 would be time saving. I definitely agree with this. Storing the lids on the containers will save you time when you're in a hurry. You can grab a container and it's ready to go without even having to search through multiple lids. Number 2 is there's less clutter. Like keeping the lids helps reduce the ones that are going to be missing container lids and they're all in one place, making the kitchen look tidier. Number 3 is the prevention of a lid loss. It's easier to misplace a lid when they're stored separately, whereas if you keep them together, it minimizes the chances of losing a lid, ensuring you have a complete set. And I see this with clients. The ones that do match their lids up with their containers are missing lids, but they generally don't use as many containers, and that's why they have the space to actually store it with their lids on. Number 4 is it's easiest to stack. So many container designs allow for stacking with the lids on, making it easier to maximize that vertical space that's in your cabinet. But if you have mix match a lot of different types of containers and lids, this is where the problem arises, where we don't have enough storage space for all the multiple ones that don't then stack very easily together. The pros to storing lids off are, number one, there's better air circulations. Again, if you've put them through your dishwasher or you've hand washed them and they're sitting there and then you've put them away, they're still going to be able to dry thoroughly. Whereas if we put the lid on, it's not going to happen. It's like when we were talking about the cups facing down. If there's moisture in there, mold would build up. There could also be odors that stay inside. Number two is it's more versatile. If you store the lids separately, you can easily mix and match them with different containers, which can sometimes be really helpful. You might have various brands or styles that actually work together. Number three is avoid warping. So some plastic lids can warp if they're stored tightly on containers, especially in warm conditions. So keeping them off can preserve their shape and also seal their quality. Three is to decanter or not to decanter in your pantry. Some of you might be like, what is decantering? It's like moving the food out of its original packaging and putting it into a clear container. You may even choose to do some things decanted, like baking goods, whereas it might be other things that are just left in their packet because you'll go through them quite quickly. Decantering pros is the aesthetic appeal, number one. It's like, it does look beautiful when they're all in clear containers, and it just makes your pantry look beautiful and uniform and tidy, and the appearance is very visually pleasing. For someone like myself, I definitely like the clear containers because I feel that the packets are really overwhelming, and then I'm less likely to cook something because there's just too much and it's overwhelming to go and choose what ingredients I need. Number two is that it's easier to identify. So clear containers make it easier to see what you have at a quick glance, and there's no more digging through the bags and boxes to find those particular ingredients you need. With the containers, you can usually stack them, and that way then you could have a label so you can see the ingredients and see what it is, but also you're able to see what's in there and how much you have left and being able to replenish the stock. Decantering can help maximize the space because most containers can be stacked and fit more neatly on the shelves than just in their original packaging. If you think about a rising flour and it's folded over the top because you've used it, you're not going to stack another flour on top of it as easily if it was in two containers. Number four is its longer shelf life. By transferring the things into airtight containers, you can help preserve the freshness and prevent pests from getting in there. And this is really useful with particular grains, cereals, and even maybe your snacks. And snacks like biscuits that you may open, but you're only going to have one or two tonight, and then you need them sealed in a container for everyone else to enjoy over the rest of the week. Number five is portion control. Decantering can help you with portion control, making it easy to measure ingredients when you're cooking and also baking. I definitely think it's so much easier to get a half a cup into a container of flour rather than into a packet of flour. So the reasons for not decantering is that maybe buying in bulk is something that you do, and this is going to be more practical and economical for you. You don't need to go to the shops so often, and it's definitely a lot harder to decanter big bulky products into containers. The other thing might be that it's more visible for you in its original packaging, and sometimes that provides more information about the product, including like the nutritional information, which can be lost when decantering. I know for myself, I cut out the instructions and I've stuck them inside the container so that I can see grains in particular, how I have to cook them. Number four is glass versus plastic containers in the freezer. And one of the things I found from our survey is that 60% of you use plastic versus 40% are using glass. I've only just recently changed over to glass, and it's a slow process because obviously it's expensive to go out and buy them all at one time, especially when I still have plastic ones. So I'm trialing it at the moment. So the pros to plastic containers is that they're, number one, they're lightweight and they're durable. Plastic containers are generally lighter than glass, making them a lot easier to handle, especially when they're filled with food, and they're less likely to break when they're dropped. Obviously, my kids were a lot younger. This was probably one of the main reasons why I really liked using the plastic. Whereas now they're a bit older, it's why I've changed over, because I'm like, they can probably handle the container that isn't particularly lightweight. Number two is it's cost effective. Obviously, plastic containers often come at a lower price point compared to your glass, which is exactly one of my reasons why I hadn't actually started using them. It might be easier to find a perfect fit for your freezer with the plastic containers. I know that when I had lots of frozen food for my kids, There's no way I would have been able to fit the amount of small containers I had in the freezer if they were glass. So definitely glass takes up a lot more space than the plastic ones. Number 3 is there's a variety of sizes. Plastic containers are available in so many shapes and sizes, and it makes it just so much easier to fit any type of food into your freezer. Number 4 is flexibility. So most of our plastic containers are designed to be flexible, which can help to reduce the chances of the container cracking because of thermal shock. So this is when we're moving the container from the freezer to a warmer environment to defrost the food that is actually in the container. And number 5 is its sealing properties. Many plastic containers have like a really tight sealed lid that can help prevent freezer burn. So this is when on the top of your food, there's like those little crystals coming on to the top of the food, and it helps to keep the food fresher for longer. Definitely think that glass containers, companies that bring out our glass containers are definitely working on that freezer burn and having better sealed containers. And that is why I'm trialing out a few different varieties to see which ones work the best. Pros to having glass containers. Number 1, it's non-toxic and they're safe. Glass containers are free from harmful chemicals like our BPA, which can be found in some of our plastics. I know a lot of our plastics these days don't have BPA, but there's still some out there that would have it. This makes it a safer option for our food storage, and that's what we're talking about, storing our food in a freezer so that we can use it at a later date. Number 2 is its durable and its longevity. Glass containers are generally more durable over time. So they're not going to crack, they're not going to warp, they don't stain, they definitely don't retain odors, and they're just going to be a longer lasting investment. Number 3 is they're better for freezer storage. So glass containers can handle extreme temperatures better than some plastic, which can become brittle in the freezer. They're generally more resistant to also that thermal shock. So when you're taking it out of the freezer and into a warmer environment. Number 4 is that they're generally microwave safe, but also oven safe. So one of my favorite things about it is that when I've put a meal into the freezer and it just needs to be reheated, when I've brought it out, all I need to do is put a cover over it, so maybe some tin foil over the top, and put it straight in the oven. So it means that I'm not having to change the containers, tipping out of the plastic into a baking dish. It's one container, so it's reducing all of the washing and just making things so much simpler and easier for the kids to get involved with putting on the food when everyone's going to be late that night. And number 5 is the aesthetic appeal. So glass containers are going to look nicer when they're used for serving food directly. Again, like I said before, you don't need to then actually transfer to another dish. And this definitely is my favorite point about it. One of my tips that I've found is purchasing a few different sizes and work out which ones are the ones that you're using the most. So I purchased 3 different sizes and just 2 of each. And then I've gone back because I've realized I really want the 1.5 litre one. That's the size where I'll have 2 meals and one will eat and one will get frozen. Choice between plastic and glass containers for freezer storage might come down to personal preference, finances, and just the age of your kids. And you might be like me that you'll change over time and it'll be a slow process. I hope by sharing these 4 kitchen organisation dilemmas, you're more aware of the pros and maybe the reasons for maybe changing. So I'll just recap on them. The great debate around cups of up or down. And remember, there was 50% of you said up and 50% of you said down. Number 2, were there are lids on and off. 50% of you said on and 85% said off. The next one was our decantering, whether we decanter or not. 80% of you said yes, you already decanter, and there was only 20% that said no. And our final one, glass versus plastic containers in the freezer. Plastic was 60% and glass was 40%. Thank you to everyone who shared their preferences on Instagram and in the Facebook group. I'd love for you to share if I've persuaded you to switch to a different one in your review in the comments section or on social media. Thanks for listening to Simply Happy Conversations. Thank you for joining me for today's Simply Happy conversation. Would you like to have a home for everything and easily be able to find the things you need during the festive season? To help you have the best Christmas season, I've created an extra special free resource for you, the Christmas Declutter Calendar. Quick and simple ideas designed to give you immediate results in just 15 minutes each day. Feel more organised this Christmas and download your Christmas Declutter Calendar from simplyhappy.com.au in the resource section. I'd like to acknowledge the Wathaurong people of the Kulin Nation on which this podcast is recorded as the traditional custodians of the land. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging.